Put the hip shit on the shelf, cause the way the real rap is being real with self. My eyes can see the glory of the coming of the left. I can do it by myself, so I'm asking for help. It's time to switch it up, put the hip shit on the shelf, cause the way the real rap is being real with self. My eyes can see the glory of the coming of the left. I can do it by myself, so I'm asking for help. Money. All you have to do. Like Kanye West said, having money is not everything, not having it is. No, Deuteronomy 8:18 says God gives us the ability to create wealth. No, it's the love of money that's the wrong. You don't like money so much, why you doesn't go to work? Yeah, it's not do think about I'm just trying to leave a legacy for money. It's not everything, but when you got it, you can do some cool stuff. And now, your host for Talking Money in the Morning, financial health mentor to the working class, Mr. H Cortez. Good morning, and welcome to Talking Money in the Morning Live with your main man, H Cortez, the one and only financial health mentor to the working class, where I do my absolute best to bring practical yet proven wealth building strategies to working class men and women all over this great nation of ours. It is truly an honor, privilege, and a blessing, guys, to come to you guys each and every morning. I see some of the same faces. I see some of the same people that tells me that you guys find a little bit of value on what it is that I say and what I bring to the table. And I appreciate you guys tuning in each and every morning. Again, I am H Cortez, financial health mentor to the working class. And specifically to the working class, because it is my opinion that working class people tend to get the short end of the stick, and nobody is, working class people are so caught up in the day-to-day grind to put food on the table that nobody's really catering to them to help them understand how to overcome and how to strategize their way out of the rat race. So I want to bring that and fill that void. So that's what I do here each and every morning. And you guys tune in, and I so appreciate it. I do not take it lightly. I love what I do, and I love you guys for tuning in and expressing that you have, or are you receiving value from what it is that I bring to the table, and I don't take that lightly. So we're talking about the #1 tax shelter for working class people. The #1 tax shelter for working class people is the subject for today's show. And again, guys, as I tell you all the time, you guys are basically listening to me lecture myself. So I don't ever want anybody to get the feeling that I am lecturing you, or that I am talking down to you or talking at you. Basically, these messages are for me, and you guys just happen to witness them, and I'm talking out loud, but these messages are for me so that I can stay on track and continue to do the things that I need to do, implement the strategies that I need to implement in order to hit my financial goals. Do me a huge favor. If you're checking us out on YouTube, then make sure that you subscribe to the channel so that you get all of the notifications when I go live or when I upload new videos and things of that nature. And if you haven't already, grab the link, share that link on your favorite social media platform, whether it's LinkedIn, Google+, wherever you like to share links, and let's involve other people in this conversation, because I believe the strategies that we teach and talk about here can help so many other people. And then if you do the same thing for me, if you're on Facebook, then share the stream, or maybe you want to invite people specifically to the stream. That's cool too. But we gotta start having the conversation about the money game, how it works and how it's played. It just blows me away of the number of people who are not even willing to have a conversation about money. And the reason it blows me away, not because of the people, but it blows me away because of the system that the people have come up in that has conditioned us so well that we won't even discuss money publicly, while at the same time, money is at the center or at the core of practically every decision we make, especially working class people. I like to play this game when I do live meetings and things of that nature. Who thinks about money more, working class people or wealthy people? Who thinks about money more, working class people or wealthy people? See, and a lot of people know that wealthy people are definitely thinking about their money all the time, but they don't think about it as much as working class people. You know why? Because wealthy people don't have to make a money decision when they decide what they're going to eat for today. Most working class people, that's a money decision. When you have to decide what you're going to eat for today, most working class people, that's a money decision, right? Do I spend $5 to get me something to eat, or do I eat my lunch, or can I eat at this place because I'm not sure if I got the money on my card and all that stuff? And ask me how I know. Because again, guys, I'm not telling you what I heard. You know, I've been through this stuff and I'm working my way through this stuff. And that's why I like to do this publicly, so that I can be held accountable. Right? So working class people, Kanye West said it best. He said, having money is not everything, but not having money is. Right? Having money is not everything, not having it is. So when you don't have money, then it does become everything. Your every waking moment is about how you're going to get yourself on a stable financial platform. So that's what this thing is all about, guys. So I love you guys for tuning in. So please share the stream with people. Now, before we get into the show, I like to let you know I see some new faces. And just in case you stumbled upon this show on accident, I like to let you know exactly who the show is for. This show is for risers and grinders only. If you're ready to get up and get out and get something, then this show is for you. This show is for people who understand the word sacrifice and are willing to make some tough sacrifices to build a legacy for their family. This is your show. This show is for the person who, like me, every night I lay my head on a pillow, I think about what can I do tomorrow, next week, next year, next 5 years, to make sure that my great, great, great grandchildren are proud to wear my last name. This show is for you. This show is for you if you're the type of person that you know deep down inside you got the discipline to build wealth. You know you've got the desire to build wealth, but maybe you need a coach, mentor. Maybe you lack a game plan. Maybe you need some strategies. Maybe you need to be immersed in a culture of people, surrounded by a different association of people that's going to help motivate, encourage, uplift, push, prod, pull you to the next level. Then this is your show. Because what impresses me the most about this show is all of the networking that takes place in the stream. When you get a bunch of like-minded people together and they start conversing, then networking just happens naturally, and you start to say, this person is in my similar situation. They're trying to build wealth. Let me connect with them and see how they're doing it, so maybe we can rub shoulders. And that's what this thing is all about. So if that is you, you fall into that category, my friend, this is your show. Now, on the other hand, who is this show not for, right? This show is not for the pessimist at all. This show is not for you if you're the type of person who got that weird relationship with money, where you think money is evil, you think wealthy people are jerks. This ain't your show. The reason it's not your show, because the people who listen to this show are attracting money, prosperity, peace, joy, love. They're attracting that stuff into their lives. But if you're the type of person that think money is evil, understand this: your subconscious mind will never allow you to attract anything to you that is evil. If you think wealthy people are jerks, your subconscious mind will never allow you to become wealthy, because why would you become something you despise? So understand, having a right relationship with money. Again, money is not everything, but at the same time, when you don't got it, then you got some issues to work through too. So if you have that weird relationship with money, then this ain't your show, right? This ain't your show if you're the type of person sitting back or waiting on Donald Trump to fix the economy instead of focusing on your economy. This show ain't for you, man, right? This is not your show. So if that is you, let me be perfectly clear about something. I do not have a problem with you not wanting to be wealthy. I only have a problem with you having a problem with me wanting to be wealthy, right? Sometimes people who are complacent, content, satisfied with where they are, why does it rub you the wrong way that I'm going after something greater, right? So I don't get that about some people. So if that's you, this is not your show. You can exit stage left, and we won't have any qualms about that. And like I tell you each and every morning, if you've never seen a future billionaire before, and yes, that's billion with a B, then I want you to take a screenshot, and then I want you to hold me to it and watch me work over the next 5 to 10 years. Yep, I can go from where I am right now to $1 billion net worth in 5 to 10 years, right? It has been done. How long did it take Zuckerberg to get there? Right, from the inception of Facebook to $1 billion. So you can miss me with it takes a lifetime for that. No, it don't. It takes someone who's smart enough to understand the power of the words that come out of his mouth and then the actions that will follow up those words. That's what this thing is all about. So with that, let me give you my sponsor for today. My sponsor for today's show is Bedrock Assurance. Eric Pierre, your favorite CPA founder and CEO of Bedrock Assurance, is your answer if you're looking for affordable, reliable, and professional accounting services. From personal tax returns to the most complicated corporate returns, Bedrock Assurance has your back. Bookkeeping services, year-round tax planning, and more. Check out their website, bedrockassurance.com, and let Eric Pierre and his staff help you keep more money in your pocket and less in Uncle Sam. Eric also has a wonderful wealth building platform as well. So definitely reach out to him at facebook.com/Bedrock Assurance, or you can give him, or you can reach out to his website, bedrockassurance.com. I have his personal phone number, guys. I don't have his business number. So I will get his business number for you guys and throw it in the chat so that you can have that as well. But check out my man, Eric. I've been knowing him for a couple years. He's a solid guy, knows his stuff when it comes to taxes. I actually has his master's as a CPA. So you want a professional, and guys, his services are affordable. Roughly the same price that you would pay at the big box store, but you're going to get a better and more personalized service. So definitely check out Bedrock Assurance. Now, today's #1 tax shelter for working class people. How many of you guys really know what a tax shelter is? Most working class people have struggles with understanding what a tax shelter even is. You guys know what a tax shelter is, right? A tax shelter. I'm gonna read a couple definitions for you, but I don't want you guys to think I just be making this stuff up. So if I did, oh, I forgot I closed those tabs. So what is a tax shelter? I just do a search on it. I think I'm in Yahoo or Google or something. Although it sounds like a specific place, a tax shelter is any investment strategy that allows one to legally minimize their taxes, right? A tax shelter is an investment strategy that allows one to legally minimize their tax liability, right? So I'll give you another. There's a couple other ones. TurboTax, Intuit. A tax shelter is any legal strategy you employ to reduce the amount of income taxes you owe. That's it. A tax shelters are any method of reducing taxable income resulting in a reduction of the payment to the tax collecting entities, including state and federal, right? That's from Wikipedia. Tax shelter definition. This is from Investopedia. A legal method of minimizing or decreasing an investor's taxable income, therefore his or her tax liability. Taxpolicycenter.org. Tax shelter is often used as a pejorative term, whatever pejorative means, pejorative term, but is only a legal way to reduce tax liabilities. It's a legal way to reduce tax liabilities. So that's all a tax shelter is a legal way to reduce tax liabilities. Now, most working class people believe that tax shelters are something that is reserved for wealthy people, right? They think tax shelters are something that's reserved for wealthy people. And I want to tell you, on the contrary, tax shelters are the things that allow wealthy people to become wealthy, right? So we talked about the 4 ways that you can acquire wealth in this country. You can buy it, build it, steal it, or inherit it. You can buy it, build it, steal it, or inherit it. 99.9999% of the wealth that's held by the 1%ers were stolen, right? But you can buy it, you can build it, you can inherit it, or you can steal. So we're not talking about stealing it, right? We're not talking about buying it, right? We're not talking about buying. So buying it would be taking your money and buying stocks, buying mutual funds, buying paper assets that can appreciate in value and ultimately grow wealth, right? You can also inherit it. How many of you guys are sitting in line for a fat inheritance? How many guys are sitting in line for a fat inheritance? Not me, right? Not me, and not many working class people, right? But that's why I come live every morning, so we can position ourselves to end that trend and start putting an inheritance over our children and our children's children if we do the right things. So a tax shelter is a legal way to minimize your tax liabilities, right? Yes, buy it, build it, steal it, or inherit it, right? It's a legal way that you can reduce your tax liabilities. A lot of people believe that that is something reserved for the wealthy, because when you watch mainstream news media, they talk about tax shelters and wealthy people. Now, yes, wealthy people use tax shelters to build wealth, but then they also use tax shelters to protect their wealth. But we're going to talk about today how you, as a working class person, can use a tax shelter to build wealth, to get you over the hump. Because if, according to Money Magazine and USA Today and Forbes and all these kinds of people, 7 out of 10 working class Americans have less than $1,000 in savings. 80% of people who are hitting retirement age are not prepared for retirement. 3 out of 4 working class people are living paycheck to paycheck, right? So that tells me most working class people need just a little bit of a catalyst, something just to jumpstart or spark them to the world of building wealth or overcoming financial struggles. Just a little bit of catalyst. Well, guess what? Where does that little bit of catalyst come from? Where does that spark? Where does that jumpstart come from? It could actually come from Uncle Sam, right? So in my opinion, the United States tax code is the real reason that people are flocking to this country. The United States tax code, in my opinion, is the #1 wealth building tool in the entire world. Not in the country. The United States tax code is the #1 wealth building tool in the entire world, right? Wealth building tool in the entire world. But guess what? Just like most tools, it's only a handful of people who know how to use those tools both effectively and efficiently, right? So we want to talk about how you now can use those tools both effectively and efficiently, because this is the game that people are playing. This is how wealthy people are getting wealthy, is because they understand the United States tax code as a tool to build wealth. So I know you guys are saying, spit it out, H Cortez. You're talking about the #1 tool. What is it? What is it? Well, there are a lot of different ways that you can minimize your tax liability. You can take 50% of your paycheck and start dumping that paycheck into investment vehicles, and that will reduce your taxable income, because there are all sorts of investments that you can make that allow you to invest with pre-tax dollars. There's a lot of investments that you can make with post-tax dollars and get a tax write-off for them. But how many of you guys can live the current lifestyle that you're living on 50% of your income? Right? On 60% of your income, because you can take 40% and invest it, or on 30% of your income, because you can take 70% of your income, because you can take 30% and invest it and create a tax shelter that way, right? Not many. Most of us are living at the very edge of a single event being a financial catastrophe in our lives. That's just where we are right now, right? And as I talked about yesterday, and when we talked about why the rich get richer, it starts with understanding where you are. It starts with understanding where you are and having an admission of where you are. I told you guys, I'm Cortez Springer, like they do in AA, right? I'm Cortez Springer, and I'm a mass consumer, right? It starts with where you are. I'm Cortez Springer. I have a negative net worth. It starts with where you are. I'm Cortez Springer, and I'm an under accumulator of wealth for my age. You have to start where you are. If you had a GPS and you were trying to get from point A to point B, but you never entered point A in your GPS, the GPS cannot and will not help you. You have to put in your GPS exactly where you are, exactly where you are, then it can put a roadmap in place to get you wherever you want to go on this globe. But only after you are honest enough to put in exactly where you are, so it can get you to where you want to be. Well, guess what? We on this show like to lay out roadmaps to get you to where you are financially. But if you're pretending that because you make 100 grand a year, that you're worth 100 grand a year, that you have 100 grand a year, then you're fooling yourself. And that's the reason you can't get to where you want to be, because you're putting in your GPS inaccurate information, right? Making 100 grand a year and keeping 100 grand a year, or putting 100 grand a year to work for you, are two different things. So you have to really be strategic and be honest with yourself to say, here's where I am, here's where I want to go. But until I really honestly admit where I am, I'll never get there. When I really honestly admit that I got some issues with money, I got some issues with how I handle money, I need help with how I handle money, I need help with strategies on overcoming some of the emotional issues that I have, because all of our money issues are tied to the emotional issues. I don't know if you guys are aware of that. All of our money issues are tied to emotional issues. People who are a wreck with their money, or people who are pretty much a wreck with their emotions. That's what big business is really good at, taking those emotional issues that we have, pushing those emotional triggers, and getting you to spend money that you don't even have. That's why we can't build wealth. That's why we struggle. But you have to first be honest with where you are. I'm extremely honest, man. I am struggling to overcome some emotional issues with my money. And that's why I tell you every day, these lectures are for me. I'm just saying them out loud, and you guys get to witness, and hopefully you're able to position yourself based on understanding some of my struggles to overcome some of your struggles. Right? That's what this thing is about for me. And we're coaching, and we're gonna build our way up together, if that's all right with you guys. So what is, in my opinion, the #1 tax shelter for working class people? If, my friend, in 2017, you do not have a home-based business, which in my opinion is the #1 tax shelter for working people, then you're losing it. You're missing it. Right? You're leaving tens of thousands of dollars on the table, and Uncle Sam is right there ready to collect with no problem. Right? If you don't have a home-based business in 2017, you're leaving tens of thousands of dollars on the table. Tens of thousands, and Uncle Sam is right there like, appreciate that. So poor and working class people tend to despise Uncle Sam. Poor and working class people will cuss the IRS every which way, all day, every day, and twice on Sundays. Wealthy people have understand how to put Uncle Sam to work for them. Wealthy people understand how to make Uncle Sam their partner. And that's the biggest difference between the haves and the have-nots. Poor and working class people are overtaxed. Wealthy people don't hardly pay any tax. Poor and working class people are overtaxed. Wealthy people hardly pay any tax, right? You guys understand that out of all of the taxes that are collected by the federal and state government in this country, 80% of those taxes come from working class people. 80% of those taxes come from working class people. The other 20% comes from corporate, comes from wealthy, comes from business owners, comes from entrepreneurs. 80% of all taxes collected in capitalist societies like ours come from working class people. And here's why. The way you earn your money in this country determines how you're taxed in this country. See, I know we have been taught that the amount of money you earn in this country determines how much you are taxed. So if I make too much and I'm gonna be taxed too much, no. How you earn your money will determine how you're taxed. Right now, there are different tax rates for different levels of taxable income, but wealthy people don't realize more than $80,000 a year in taxable income. They keep themselves in a certain tax bracket because they understand tax code. So if you make 100% of your money with labor, like 95% of people in this country, then you're going to pay more taxes than anybody else. If you are like 95% of people in this country and you make 100% of your income from your labor, you will be taxed more than anybody else, 28 to 33% in taxes, and that's just income tax. Add in the school tax, real estate tax, sales tax, personal property tax, city tax in some cities. Working class people pay the most in taxes in their entire amount of wealth. They pay upwards of 50 to 60% of their income in taxes. That's why you're struggling, because you're trying to live on 40% of what you make and not by choice. See, wealthy people live on 40% of what they make, but that's by choice. So they can use the other 60% to build wealth. Poor and middle class people live on 40% of their make because of taxes, and it's not by choice, right? So when you're talking to poor and middle class people about living below your means, most of them are already living at the bare bone minimum. Now, are there some morons out there doing some crazy stuff with the little bit of money they got? Sure they are. But I'm talking about responsible adults right now. I'm talking about responsible adults who get up every day, go to work, and trying to do right by their family, trying to do right by their children, trying to do right by their legacy, trying to save a little bit, trying to invest a little bit, right? The reason you're struggling is because 50 to 60% of your income is gone before you even get it. So we're talking about the #1 tax shelter for working class people. In my opinion, there are lots of tax shelters because, again, a tax shelter is just a strategy that allows you to legally minimize your taxes. Again, a tax shelter is just a strategy that allows you to legally minimize your taxes, right? So how do you use a home-based business, or why is a home-based business the #1 tax shelter for working class people? #1, all of us are given gifts, talents, and special abilities. All of us. Every single person on this planet, when they were created, was created for a specific person. That means they have specific gifts, talents, and abilities that were given to them in a certain combination that were not given to anybody else. And all of those things can be turned into income streams, can be turned into a business. So you can start a home-based business for $0. You can create a tax shelter right now, this very minute, for $0. That's #1. Why is it the best, the #1 tax shelter for working class people? Because it doesn't take you any money to get started, right? So we know that real estate is a good tax shelter, right? But who's got the money to invest in real estate right now? Not a whole lot of us. 7 out of 10 of us have less than $1,000 in savings. 3 out of 4 of us are living paycheck to paycheck. 80% of us, when we get to retirement age, won't be ready, right? You can start a business today for $0. How do I start a business? I'm good at baking cookies. So today, I start a cookie baking business for $0. Now, the business is in inception right now. I'm working my business right now because I'm starting to lay out my game plan to start baking cookies for commercial purposes, right? Now, it cost me $0 to do that. Now, to go ahead and there are some things that I'm going to file So I'm going to go file a fictitious name with the Secretary of State, go get me an EIN number, which is also free. So I may be out of pocket $10. Go get me a free blog site at Weebly.com. Their blogs, their websites are free. So now I got a free website. I've got an EIN, and I've registered my name with my state for less than $10. And I'm in business. And the moment I do that, what does that mean for me as it relates to the tax code? That means that I have over 500 tax deductions available to me. And those are just the common ones. But Miss Yvette is on the line, Miss Sandra's on the line. These are tax preparation specialists, right? The amount of tax deductions that there really are is unlimited, because the only thing that limits them is your creativity. The only thing that limits them is your creativity. There's nothing that says what I do, I can come up with all kinds of ways to promote and market my business. I come up with all kinds of ways to get my brand out there, and all of that becomes tax deductible, right? So the reason that a home-based business is the #1 tax shelter for working class people is you can get started with little or no money, right? The second reason it is the #1 tax shelter for working class people is because it allows you to take the money that you are already spending on everyday expenses, run those things through your business, and they become tax deductible. What are you talking about? I want you to think about this. One of my brands, she said, how do I register my business name? Go to the Secretary of State website for your state. Secretary of State website for your state. And you could file a fictitious name. If you don't want to do you can file a fictitious name through the Secretary of State for your state. That's where all of the business things are recorded for your state. So you simply, you can start with zero or little money to get started. Secondly, you take your everyday common expenses and you make them tax deductible. What common expenses are you talking about? One of my businesses is an athletic training academy. So if you're in the St. Louis area and you want to lose some weight, or you got kids, I really train kids. You got kids who play sports and they're trying to develop their athleticism, then go to solidfoundationathletics.com, right? So that is my training business. In my basement, I have about 70% of my basement dedicated to that training business, that training, right? 70% of my basement is committed to that training facility, right? So out of my entire living space, that 70% of my basement is dedicated for that space. That may be about 15% of my living space, right? Because I'm using a finished portion of my basement and an unfinished portion of my basement. So the unfinished portion isn't considered living space, but the finished portion is. So about 15% of my living space is used for business. So how does that affect me from a tax standpoint? That means 15% of my mortgage is tax deductible. 15% of all of my utilities are tax deductible. If I put new windows in my house, 15% of the cost of the new window installation in my house will be tax deductible. If I put a roof on my house, 15% of the cost of that new roof is on my house, because this is no longer just a house. It's a house with a business embedded in the house. So you get something called the home office deduction, right? Business use of your home deduction. Right? So I'm going to pay my mortgage whether I have a business or not. But now that I have a business, a percentage of my mortgage becomes tax deductible, right? What about communication? I have cell phones. Guess what? I'm going to pay a cell phone bill whether I have a home-based business or not. But now that I have a business, 80% of my cell phone usage is for business, 20% is personal. So 80% is tax deductible, right? So what we're saying, when you open or start a home-based business, then you start to look at the money that you spend already And a portion of that money that you're spending now, because of the tax shelter of your home-based business, you're able to legally, emphasis on the word legally, reduce your tax liability. So we're going to go over a couple of the most common tax deductions that you're spending money on already, and you can take some of that money and use it in your home-based business, reduce your taxable income, and therefore reduce your tax liability. So business use of your home, we just talked about, right? Business use or business travel, right? I just came back from a business trip to Tupelo, Mississippi, where I was teaching this to my sisters, right? And one of their friends. Well, guess what? That was a business trip, so the entire trip is tax deductible. Just so happened I'm in the city where my sisters live, so I was able to do some visiting as well. I'm in the city where my grandmother lives, so I was able to visit with my grandmother, right? But the purpose of that trip was business, right? So that's a tax deductible trip for me, right? Wages to your children, right? If you don't understand that if you have a home-based business, you can pay your children up to $6,300 per year per child between 6 and 18, and that is tax deductible for you. And if they don't make any other income, then it's tax-free for them. See, nobody in this country has to file taxes if you make $6,300 or less. The only reason you file taxes if you make less than $6,300 is to get the money back that was withheld from your check. Right? If you make less than $6,300, your employer, because they are a corporation, they have to do certain things when it comes to employee taxes, when it comes to withholding money for Social Security and that sort of thing. But you actually get the tax money back if you made less than $6,300. So my children, who I pay to work in my business, don't have to file an income tax return because they're making less than $6,300. But the money that I give them, instead of giving them an allowance, I give them jobs in my business, and I give them salary. So that for me is tax deductible. So that allows me to reduce my taxable income by $6,300 or whatever I pay them for the year per child, right? Meals and entertainment. My children are in my business. So when we went on the business trip to Tupelo, my hometown, then they had to work in the business. And I also had to feed them little crumb snatchers, right? So that's part of the meal and entertainment tax. I'm away on business. I have to eat. I have a couple employees with me I'm responsible for. So whether I buy their meals or give them a per diem, it's all the same. It's tax deductible for me, right? Miles. I drove my personal van to Mississippi on this trip. Every single mile, it came up to a little over 800 miles. Every single mile is tax deductible to the tune of 57.5 cents per mile or something like that. Right? So if you look at 800 miles, 57.5 cents a mile, that's a little over $400, almost $500 that I'm able to reduce my taxable income by, just by understanding the tax code and using my business and using my personal vehicle for business. Right? Now, these other ones get a little bit complicated, but I want you to understand what I want you to understand the power in this is, right? How about insurance? Making insurance 100% tax deductible. If I wanted to, which I'm not, I haven't yet, but I am, since I'm no longer employed, since I retired from my job. So now I have to go and pick up insurance. So I'm going to get with my girl, Miss Yvette, and we're going to get this all squared away on paper. But I'm going to hire my wife in my business. And in her compensation package, I'm going to make her insurance 100%. I'm going to cover her insurance 100%. I'll give her a 100% reimbursement on insurance. So what that means is she now, because she's an employee with a business, she will go out and purchase insurance And whatever the premium is, the company is going to give her a 100% reimbursement because it's part of her compensation package. Right? So I'm giving you a heads up, Miss Yvette, that's what you're going to be helping me with in 2017. Right? Miss Yvette is another good tax preparation specialist. Really knowledgeable, really brilliant when it comes to all these kinds of things and business formation and all of that kind of stuff. I'm not sure if she's still on, but that's one of my go-tos as well. So that's how you make insurance tax deductible. What about tuition? Right? What about tuition? I have an 18-year-old who's a freshman, and then I have a 22-year-old who's about to get his head wrong because he's a fifth-year senior, right? I can put them on payroll as well and make their tuition 100% reimbursable. So now anything that they pay for school, all they have to do is submit the paperwork to me, and then I can reimburse them, which basically a tax accountant with an MBA in accounting. I'm sorry, Miss Yvette. I'm sorry, because that is a distinction. That is a distinction. She's a tax accountant, not just tax preparer, because that is a difference. Because her schooling and her education makes her an accountant. A tax preparer would be somebody who goes through the 6-week course to work at H&R Block or something like that. So I apologize, Miss Yvette. But yes, you're going to help me nonetheless. So tuition would be something else. All right. And then how about investments? All right. How about investments? Right. As an employee, you can max out on a certain amount of investments that you can put into your investment accounts that will allow you to get tax deductions, right? Get tax deductions. But as an employee for my own company, yes, as the employee, I can max out on what I can contribute to my different investment accounts. But then as the employer who employs me, I can also do a company match for whatever I put into my investment account. So now I can double up on the amount of money that can go into my investment account without penalty, because my employer, which is me, matches the employee, which is me, when it comes to investments. So you guys got to understand that this is why I believe that the #1 tax shelter for working class people is a home-based business, right? And yes, you can partner with me in my home-based business. I use network marketing and other businesses that I create as my home-based business, because network marketing companies are also good, low entry costs to get started, teams and supports and systems that will help you grow and develop and switch your mindset from employee thinking to business owner thinking, which is very important. Infrastructure is already put in place for you. So that is a smoother way to transition from employee to employer, right? From employee to entrepreneur, because you're doing it with a group of people, you're doing it with a system, you're doing it with infrastructure that is already in place. Yeah, James, connect with Miss Yvette, man. She's the truth. So definitely connect with her. So that is the deal there. So those are just some of the top things that you can look at, and the reasons that I believe that the tax shelter for working class people is a home-based business. So you can partner with me for just $5 for a limited time. $35 a month gets my continued mentorship, education, training, and all that good stuff, man. But it doesn't matter what home-based business you start understanding how the tax code applies to businesses versus employees, right? Miss Yvette told me last time we were talking about this subject that there's about 15 deductions that you're allowed to take as an employee. As a business owner, the number is unlimited. Yep. So that's my girl Yvette Younger. Definitely reach out to her. I'm telling you, guys, if you're looking for a new business structure and you want to get that stuff laid out, she likes to say that she will make you look solid on paper, and then all you have to do is follow through and execute what she's going to put down and put into place for you in terms of building your business. And then if you want to partner with me, then you get the branding and the marketing expertise to help grow that business and that brand as well. So yes, Shan, yeah, we talked last night, so I told you about Miss Yvette. So definitely That's what we do. That's what we do. And then being immersed in this culture is what, when I told you guys all of the networking that goes in the stream. So literally, if you want a business, that's where you go. Earlier this year, she joined our wealth building team, and I'm so appreciative that she brought all of these skill sets and said, you know what, how can I help the team win? How can I help the team win? And I said, there's a lot of us who need to understand fully how to really do this stuff, how to get it done right on paper, how to record everything properly. So she became our go-to. She became my go-to. So with that, guys, that's the deal, man. If you don't have a home-based business in 2017, what are you waiting on? You're leaving tens of thousands of dollars on the table, and Uncle Sam is glad that you are. Right? The other thing that having a home-based business will do for you, if you haven't already, is it allows you to revisit your W-4 form. Now, some of you guys don't know that the W-4 form is a form designed specifically to make sure that you and Uncle Sam break even each and every year. The W-4 form is designed specifically to make sure you and Uncle Sam break even every year. According to the latest statistics from IRS.gov, 8 out of 10 people have that W-4 form filled out incorrectly. 8 out of 10 people. So they're overpaying taxes. As a result, Uncle Sam is sending out over 100 million refund checks each and every year because people don't understand that form. I was overpaying my taxes $275 per month until someone helped me understand that form. It's one of the things that we do when you join our financial success membership is help you understand that form. I brought that $275 back into my household and immediately start to use it to eliminate debt. Right? When I talked about you needing just a little bit of catalyst, sometimes that's all we need. In 2007, 2008, when the economy crashed and we had that bank debacle that the taxpayers paid billions of dollars for, right? It said the average person could have avoided bankruptcy and foreclosure with just an extra $300 to $500 per month. And guess how much people are overpaying their taxes? About $300 to $500 per month, right? So with that, guys, I am going to wrap things up and go ahead and get moving. I gotta get my son to the barbershop. He's itching for a haircut. And then I got some work to do myself. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. Again, #1 tax shelter for working class people. It's by far, in a way, in my opinion, having a home-based business, because you can take your talents and turn them into a business, and then access the tax code to save money that would otherwise be going to Uncle Sam. You can then take that money that you're saving and use it to eliminate your debt and then stay out of debt personally. There's nothing wrong with business debt, but personal debt is what's really killing us, literally and figuratively, right? It's literally killing us because all disease comes from stress, right? And 80% of stress comes from financial stress. Even the stress that we put on our bodies by the things we put in our bodies because of the way that we feed ourselves when we're under stress. So you just have to understand that this is, man, money ain't everything, but when you don't got it, it could kill you, literally, right? If you're not careful. So those are the things that I want you to understand, so you can plug in with what I do, or you can take a look at what I do by going to financialhealthmentor.com or give me a call at 314-874-6887. And yes, that is my real phone number. People call me, and when I answer, they hang up all the time. It's like, what are you expecting when you call somebody? But they're expecting some sort of teleprompter or some sort of automated system or recording. No, I'm a real guy. I'm on a mission to help 1,000 families overcome poverty and living paycheck to paycheck this year. 1,000 families. If you want to be one of them, just reach out to me. I'll show you our program, what it is that we do, how we do it, and if it's a good fit for you, then cool. If not, keep listening. I have guests on the show all the time with different strategies and different ways to build wealth. Maybe one of those will resonate with you. But at the end of the day, I'm here to help you understand the power of playing the money game to win, but you first have to understand the rules. So I'm H Cortez, financial health mentor to the working class. Until I talk to you guys tomorrow, I want you to get your money up because you absolutely can do it. Peace out, people.